What's up, guys? This is the GOATcast podcast, and today we will be continuing the series titled 96 Bulls versus. If you haven't checked out the other videos, I pit the 96 Bulls against the 01 Lakers, 03 Spurs, and 08 Celtics. Check the description for the playlist link to see what I thought of those potential 7-game series. So now we take a trip to the extremely fun 2010s and pit some of their champions against the legendary 96 Chicago Bulls, considered by most as the greatest NBA team of all time. So today, who would win? The 1996 Chicago Bulls against the history-making 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers. Can the kid from Akron bulldoze that tough Chicago lineup, or will the Bulls grab some brooms and send them fishing? But before I break this epic matchup down, please like and subscribe to the channel. The road to 500 subs is in full effect, and I appreciate any support to help keep the channel moving and help me improve the content. So now, let's take a look at the matchup. The 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers were some weird times. After falling to the new dynasty, the Golden State Warriors, in the 2015 finals, the team looked to regain their momentum to take down that Goliath of a team. Firing head coach David Blatt in January of 2016 for some odd reasons, LeBron, after the Cavs were on top of the Eastern Conference and had a 30-11 record. Tyronn Lue would take over, and the rest, well, is history. They would basically cruise back to the finals, taking down a very weak Pistons team led by Andre Drummond, a solid but outmatched Al Horford Atlanta Hawks team, and the always cracking under pressure Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan Toronto Raptors, to face the Steph Warriors once again. This time exacting revenge from 2015 and in historic fashion by coming back from a 3-1 deficit. Some will point to some conspiracy theories in that series, but if you've watched during those days, LeBron was on a mission, and this was probably one of his prime years in the league. Just unstoppable at points and even a solid contributor on the defensive end. In those playoffs, LeBron erupted to average 26 points per game, almost 10 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals per game. Meanwhile, Kyrie Irving scored in 25 points per game, with Kevin Love chipping in around 15 points. The 96 Chicago Bulls need no introduction. If you watched the other videos, I've spoken about them, but if you haven't, they were a nightmare to any team unlucky enough to be in their path. Having little resistance in the Eastern Conference bracket, they were able to send Shawn Kemp and Gary Payton packing in the finals in 6 games. This was the season Dennis Rodman joined Jordan and Scottie Pippen, and he was every bit of the menace that he had previously been in Detroit and briefly in San Antonio. The 95-96 Bulls were an almost perfectly crafted yet not deep squad, with guys like Michaeljordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, and Tony Kukoc all in their prime, and guys like Ron Harper and Luke Longley willing to fill in the gaps where needed. Plus sharpshooters Steve Kerr and Jud Buechler on the wings that were constructed to be a problem for most teams, especially the ones in that era. Jordan came back from his first retirement and exploded for 31 points per game. Scottie, Rodman, and Kukoc all chipped in whether offensively or defensively to add to this historic team. So in a highly anticipated 7-game series, who wins? Let's look at their seasons. The 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers had the 8th best offense that season, averaging 104.3 points a game, and on defense they were 4th best that year, only allowing 98.3 points for their opponents. Top 10 in both offense and defense, this Cavs team was actually solid on both ends, and we saw that when they took down those 2016 Golden State Warriors. Meanwhile, as we've shown before, the 96 Chicago Bulls had the best offense of the season, averaging 105.2 a game, and on defense, they were the 3rd best that year, only allowing other teams 92.9 points a game. Pretty solid on both ends of the floor. This series looks like it would likely be won by the team that could stifle the other the most. Now, let's talk about the team's advantages. First, the 2016 Cavs. This was LeBron James on a mission and a whole other level. In my opinion, this was probably one of LeBron's last great defensive years, and no, I'm not saying he's been bad since 2016, but his effort has been in spurts throughout those years. Couple that with Kyrie Irving being somewhat under control and not the erratic Kyrie we've seen these last few years, able to carve up defenses as well as be a key factor off ball, playing Robin to LeBron's Batman. This team had a solid nucleus also with guys like Kevin Love, J.R. Smith, and Tristan Thompson contributing in big ways, and bench players like Matthew Dellavedova, Richard Jefferson, and Channing Frye coming off the bench. So their advantages are peak LeBron James, another level, good defense, and shooters. Kyrie, Kevin Love, Channing Frye, Richard Jefferson in spurts, James Jones when he played, J.R. Smith, and even in spurts, LeBron James. The 96 Bulls, well, they had legendary weapons on both sides of the ball. With Jordan able to score at high clips after returning from playing baseball and getting himself back into basketball shape, Scottie Pippen, after taking the reins from Jordan in 94 and most of 95, seemed to have come out of Jordan's shadow a bit and be somewhat of a leader on the court as well. This was the year they made the huge addition of Dennis Rodman, and Tony Kukoc continued his rise from the European leagues to the NBA. Their advantages would be, of course, exceptional defense yet again, the GOAT, Michael Jordan, and championship pedigree, meaning they knew how to get it done. While LeBron, of course, had been there, his teammates, not so much. So the X factors. What would be the X factor for the Cleveland Cavs? These guys, and throw in Kevin Love as well. Channing Frye, Tristan Thompson, and Kevin Love will need to be productive in multiple ways. Love and Frye from deep, as the Bulls would have to figure out how they wanted to play Cleveland with their many shooters. I doubt they would want Rodman and or Luke Longley trying to chase them off the three-point line. So Scottie might have to pull duty on those guys, meaning LeBron could roam free a little, while Tristan would have to beast on the boards. Easier said than done. But he would have to really focus on his potential battle with Rodman and stick to his role as a top-notch rebounder. While Frye isn't going to give you much more, and Love wasn't quite the Minnesota Timberwolves Kevin Love, they will still be bothersome to the Bulls, who didn't go deep into their bench a lot and lost size as they did go into their bench beyond 2 or 3 deep. With Longley being a slower big, they both capitalized and really punished the Bulls with their ability to spread the floor, and the Bulls having to pick their poison of not helping on defense to keep LeBron and Kyrie from getting easy buckets at the basket or giving up an open or hardly contested three. The Bulls' X factors. Their wings. Ron Harper, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc, Steve Kerr, Judd Buechler have to be able to contend on both ends of the floor. We know Harper can play defense, Jordan can, and Pippen. We know Kerr and Buechler can hit shots along with Jordan and Kukoc. That Cavs defense and offense was sneaky good in 2016, especially in the playoffs, able to slow down for the most part those regular season record-breaking Golden State Warriors. There's no doubt Jordan and likely Pippen would get theirs, even Kukoc for that matter. But if their wings and shooters are unable to knock down important shots in key moments, they could have issues with this Cavs team. Also, with the Kyrie and LeBron tandem able to put up buckets fairly quickly, along with the fact that the Cavs had some pretty solid outside shooters, the defense from these guys would have to stay at a high level for a good amount of time on the court. Their two-way players would definitely have to earn their paycheck in this series, trying to keep the Cavs at bay. So who wins? This could be good. As I always say, I don't think home court would be a factor for any championship level team. As far as coaching, I think Phil Jackson has the slight edge over Tyronn Lue, but Lue is a very underrated coach in my opinion. So could a man on a mission LeBron bully his way to another chip, or would the resurgent Michael Jordan be too much for the scrappy Cavs? I have to go with the latter once again and crown the 1996 Chicago Bulls the series winner, winning 4-2. I could see there being a few very close games in the series, and it will come down to execution and attention to detail. Phil Jackson, I believe, could craft some interesting plays down the stretch to give them momentum, and of course, Jordan would likely be able to will his team to victory if needed. I would absolutely love to see 2016 LeBron James try to lock down 1996 Michael Jordan, but I believe Jordan was crafty enough to make him pay. No matter how you feel about LeBron, he was a beast in 2016, and I believe he was at his peak in this year on both ends. So I believe he would have given Pippen and Rodman fits during these games. And Kyrie would have been able to outmaneuver Ron Harper on occasion, but in the end, I just think with Kukoc able to take some of the scoring load off of Jordan and Pippen, Kerr and Buechler being snipers themselves, and Tristan Thompson likely having no way of stopping Rodman from grabbing boards, the Bulls would have too many possessions to get the job done. But what do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree? Could that Cavs team had actually pulled what I believe would be an upset? Let me know in the comments section. Also, I have a few teams I'm definitely going to do in the 2010 series. But if there's a championship team from the 2010s that you want to see me analyze and break down against the Bulls, also let me know in the comments section. And of course, if you want to ascend to GOAT status like number 23, please like and subscribe to the channel. The road to 500 subs is getting close and everything helps. Hope you enjoyed this content and we'll be back soon. Thank you.